It's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Well, whatever you think of this trade, on another matter that we've discussed from time to time on this show, you can sleep easier tonight. We'll get to that a little bit later. I know it's been on your mind. I know it's been an important issue. And it's going to take all the sting out of whatever is building inside of you, concerns, money, whatever it is about the city of Minneapolis, some of the financial challenges involved, rent control, all the things that crime that you might wonder, fraud, all taken care of on the basis of one other move that apparently is now official. But go ahead.
Oh, good. Yeah. All right. Well, I look forward to that.
I can't wait because that's what I like to do. I like to give people hope. Some sign that there's rest assured that no matter what challenges you're dealing with, there's something that you're going to be able to count on and feel better about.
You like to be an energy giver.
Very much so.
You like to lighten the load.
You're the morale drain.
I can be.
No, actually, Common was accused of being the morale drain.
The original.
That's the original. That's right.
But then he drained so many of our morales that it was like there's like a morale drain coaching tree. And we're all part of that.
Talk about moody.
Yeah, we're all part of that. We'll get to one item because we've been talking about the trade all day for obvious reasons. We'll give you the grand in your hand, $2,500 cash contest keyword here in a minute. But I just love these paragraphs. The second paragraph in particular, I'll give you the lead is Mookie Betts backed Shohei Ohtani with his 300th career home run, 3 hits and slick defense as the Dodgers finished a 3-game sweep of the Twins with a 4-3 victory on Wednesday night. Last night at Target Field, it was sold out. This is my favorite sentence. Ohtani helped himself with an RBI single to spark a 3-run third inning against Twin starter Joe Ryan after the two-way superstar fell behind with a 3-run second. Then I kind of look and I go, this is how dumb I am. I just assume on the days that Ohtani pitches, like he doesn't necessarily hit, but he does.
Like he leads off, I think, yeah.
Like that tells you how unlocked in I am on the Ohtani thing. I just assumed and then he just pitches. They throw somebody else in there. Maybe sometimes
in fact, he stays, as I recall it, even when I think he pitched 6 innings.
Yes.
And again, as we talked about yesterday, he's actually struggled by his ridiculous standards the last couple starts, and last night wasn't unhittable.
Right.
He gave up, was it 3 runs?
3 runs, yep, 1 inning. His ERA now 1.58.
That's it. Well, but after he went 6 innings, but then he stayed, he continued to DH, as I recall it.
He was 2 for 5.
Yeah.
With a couple of strikeouts, though.
Oh.
We got him.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
So we got swept.
Yeah.
Do we do the moral victory thing that the first game,
2-1.
The bookend games, we were competitive.
Yeah.
The middle game, we got routed. Yep. What do you want from us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, they're big money stars, right? Betts, Ohtani, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were a big part of the critical plays.
Well, we didn't even have a chance against us. Not even fair.
Freeman took away a run, too, with a nice play.
He did, actually. That's true.
So there's that. So now that the Dodgers are out of town and everybody got to watch Ohtani, which everybody was fired up about, the Twins have the day off before welcoming the Colorado Rockies, the dreadful 32-49 Colorado Rockies, to Target Field starting tomorrow night. So
they're still in the wild card race.
That's right. That's right. The fan has your chance to win $2,500. Just enter the keyword. What day is today? Thursday. Travel at KFAN.com, part of our $250,000 cash contest as we celebrate 250 years of America. KFAN.com, keyword travel.
How can I tease this next segment before Sam Mitchell joins us at the bottom of the hour? All is right with the world. We'll explain why next.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on The Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This week.
You're not going to get me down. I no matter how many times you send texts explaining various report card grades that have been assigned to the Wolves on this deal from respected national publications or online sites, including The Athletic, including ESPN.com, D+ here, D- there. Has anybody gone F? Do we had any Fs? I'm sure there's somebody's going to give us an F.
I feel like we would have gotten sent that if we already had
Probably
the F.
True. I'm going to stand by my conviction, and I certainly could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. But in fact, now I'm starting to get to that point where I'm going to dig in even harder and plant my feet, because I think some of the stuff has gotten a little bit repetitive and a little bit on the silly side. But again, we are aware. In fact, we quoted from some of these pieces before, and we're moving uphill right now, swimming upstream, so to speak, whatever the case may be. That part is 100% true, but that's the beauty of it. That's okay. Can you hit the breaking news sounder for me?
Oh, yeah, hang on. Well, hang on. Found a different thing here.
It's a tremendous weight, I think, that's been lifted off of each and every one of us. And I think, as I said, you can, put your head on the pillow tonight and not fear tossing and turning, waiting for resolution on this particular issue. Your suspense is now officially eliminated. The Minneapolis City Council has voted to repeal the city's 38-year ban on gay bathhouses. They're back. Gay bathhouses, again, I know it's been a major topic of concern throughout the Twin Cities, certainly throughout Minneapolis. The votes are in. And the mayor has said that he will indeed sign the measure. He adds, he wants our focus to remain on providing core city services, safe streets, housing, and economic development.
Novel.
Silly.
Trivial.
Why spend any time on haven't we conquered all those issues? What here in fairness to the city council, this is what happens when you solve as many problems as they have with serious, sober-minded legislation and ideas. At some point you go, what do we got left to do? There's nothing left. City's fine. Crime's fine. All our buildings are full. In all honesty, we got to do something, right? I mean, that's kind of our job. And so at that point you go, well, hey, what about the gay bathhouse thing? Well, and by the way, we were told that this is no accident. Days before Twin Cities Pride Weekend. It's all part of celebrating, I guess, Pride Weekend. Apparently that's part of the obligation, is to right this particular wrong and make it available to you legally to involve yourself, gay or straight, doesn't matter, in not going to a bathhouse. Does anybody take a bath in a bathhouse?
Never been.
Does anybody take a shower in a bathhouse?
I'm guessing they have those options.
Does anybody get a steam in a bathhouse? I mean, silly me, I thought, okay, well then in public settings, well, I say public, it's private, entities, but places that in shared spaces like this, do we really need to go down this road? Can we be as open and, what's the right term I'm looking for here? Offering up, regardless of gay, straight, whatever, all the services that the city offers, make sure that there's not discrimination that which has gone on in the past, and to do everything we can to make sure it's not continuing to go on, and if it does go on, to hold those individuals accountable so everybody feels welcome. Silly me, I thought, just feeling welcome in stadiums, arenas, restaurants, wherever the shared spaces are, that you don't feel that you are being discriminated against, that was enough, but apparently it's not. There's the notion that you are discriminating against part of our community if you do not allow that community to have the option to engage in this activity in places that are at least sanctioned by the city of Minneapolis. So as I said, we can all rest easier. And if your tendency is to go, well, doesn't the city council, in all seriousness, aren't there any better things to do to take up our time? Obviously, you're not paying attention. Like I said, they're bored. They have tackled every significant issue, including, I think, a couple out of the Middle East, that, of course, are directly connected to running the city of Minneapolis. Nothing performative about any of that as well. And so they're saying, don't blame us. We pretty much we've conquered pretty much all of it. The streets are safe. Housing's fine. Economic development? Really? Every one of those boxes checked. Are they not?
Nailed them.
Nailed it, 100%. So, again, because I'm sure, like I said, for a lot of people, there's been, in the name of inclusivity, said, well, we gotta right this wrong. San Francisco does it. There's some other cities that do it, and by God, we want to check that box too, because we want to be like a number of several other cities that have gone down this road before. So congratulations, it's there. And the mayor, I thought earlier the mayor had said he might veto it, but maybe what the mayor said was the same thing, was like, well, I'm not really spending a lot of time on this, but do what you're going to do. But he has said he will indeed sign, and I think the votes are in. Did you see, by the way, one of the members did not vote. See if I can find the passage, StarTribune.com, on the voting. They had the list of people who voted. Oh, Councilmember Jamison Whiting was absent because he's playing in the beach handball world championships in Croatia.
Good for him. What's his name?
Jamison Whiting.
Good for Jamison Whiting.
Wonder how that's coming out. Beach handball in Croatia. There were, looks like, 2 council members opposed. They'll probably never be allowed to speak in the city council meetings again. And the council president abstained from voting. But as it turns out, we didn't need the Jamison Whiting vote. I don't know which way he was going to go on that particular deal, but it's done. Let's pause here. And let's get to Sam Mitchell, and let's get his reaction to the trade that has rocked the world of the National Basketball Association, not just here, but all across America. Stay tuned.
This is Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on The Fan.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Stay plugged into everything KFAN. Sports updates, ticket giveaways, show highlights. Follow at KFAN 1003 on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X today.
We hope we'll get Sam Mitchell here in a moment or two. Gaardsy tried a couple times, and he didn't quite get there. 646-86 is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, and we'll get back to our controversial story that we were just covering in just a minute. Hopefully Sam will call our hotline number here shortly. He could be on the golf course today. That wouldn't be all that shocking. Although I don't think he's playing quite as much as he used to, he said. But hopefully we get him soon. In the meantime, maybe we get into a little bit more on the latest in an endless series of Caitlin Clark related controversies. One of the debates that's broken out is whether her own approach lends credence to some of the agitation or adds to the eagerness with which some seem to want to agitate her or even hurt her. Now, what I saw before we get to the suspension that just was announced earlier today of a player who went after Clark, I don't know if you've seen video. This was, I think, a couple of days ago. There was a game where on a closeout, it was the textbook example of what's supposed to be a. Do they call that a technical foul in the WNBA? In the NBA, when you close out and you don't let the
flagrant landing
space thing. I don't know if it's a flagrant, whatever it is. And there was much agitation within the Fever community that after the fact didn't get upgraded. It was a pretty egregious one that I saw, by the way. Now, more recently, or as in today, this was announced. Alyssa Thomas was suspended, I think for one game, issued a flagrant foul two for actions against Clark and the Fever. This was in a game that was played last night. It's easily found, by the way. If you're looking around, I think you can get it online pretty easily. The suspension was, quote, for recklessly making contact with her fist to the throat area of Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark. The WNBA called the play a non-basketball act. And the throat part is Clark ends up on her back, and the player is trying to I guess, gather herself. Alyssa Thomas was trying to gather herself, and she's getting up. She puts her hand down, and basically on Clark's throat. It's not like she choked her. I wouldn't say it stayed there for a lengthy period of time, but it was a non-basketball play. It was a dirty play. It was a play that you gotta handle. And then after the game. Who's the Fever head coach? Stephanie White?
Stephanie White.
She went pretty much ballistic.
Yes.
On this. Let me see. You're coming in here aware of what happened 2 nights ago, and that bleep still happens. Absolutely unacceptable. She, as in Caitlin, is not called the same way everybody else is called. We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots in this game that weren't called. I can say it again, absolutely unacceptable. So, I don't know. I almost felt like we were past this, now that things are settling down a little bit and people are getting used to having, it's like, what do you say to those who mention, well, I can't condone this behavior, but Clark's no angel, which I don't think any of us has said she is.
Right.
But there's still certain lines that shouldn't be crossed and should be fairly clear that if you do, you should have to pay the price. But it's more than the price paying. It's still about what's the intent? I mean, what's the statement that is apparently being made? And, of course, nobody's going to own up to any enmity, I don't think. I don't know if anybody's talked about this from the other side of the equation, but it's curious. And have we gotten to the bottom of – why don't you reiterate the story you mentioned yesterday that I think, as I said, Dan Patrick got into yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, I don't know when it was, on the photos that regard showing a number of WNBA players.
Yes, so they tweeted out yesterday, the WNBA, bring a piece of WNBA history home, celebrate 30 years of the W with this commemorative anniversary poster. Windcraft's poster is available now. And so you look at the poster, and you take a look at some of the players. I see Nafisa Collier. I see Lisa Leslie. I see Paige Beckers. Trying to think, is Angel Reese in there? Yeah, there's Sophie Cunningham. So there's past and present, and there's no Caitlin Clark on the poster. Now, there's no Diana Taurasi either, which there probably should be. You can go down the list. There's no Maya Moore, but...
So how many current players are on it?
I mean, I'd have to count literally individually, but plenty. I mean, I'm looking at 4 right there.
To me, you hit on, there can only be one rational explanation that doesn't make this inexcusable, right? And it would be, well, she's got her own deal, or there's some kind of contractual thing that doesn't allow us for whatever reason to include her. I mean, for example, Paige Beckers is among the players.
Yes.
No one's going to argue with that.
Right.
Right? No one. But by definitionally, if you're going to put Paige Beckers on there, Caitlin Clark's got to be on there. Because if you're trying to say, well, what has Caitlin really done yet? What has Paige done yet? Right? As good a prospect as she is, as good a player as she already is, her team hasn't done anything. So I hope somebody does good reporting on it, because if there is that asterisk, that would change it quite a bit. Otherwise, it falls under the ongoing classification of, what are we doing? What's the point of this? What is the ongoing resentment and fear? Who's making these decisions? Who are you listening to? Because again, even if you want to say, well, because we never quoted from it, but Bill Plaschke had a column basically saying he was done with Caitlin Clark.
Interesting. And
this goes back a week or two ago I think this may have been after, she had the scene with her coach on the sidelines. There was a couple other things. And he said, look, I'm a huge Caitlin Clark fan, always have been, but I don't like the direction this is going. And he was putting more of it on her. But I'll say again, even if you agree with Plaschke, from a league standpoint, you don't ignore her. Mm-hmm. There's just no way. But go ahead.
Here's an update from your guy, Darren Ravel.
Okay.
Within the last hour. And it is a Caitlin Clark thing. It's not a WNBA issue, which is good clarification, because he writes, the reason why Caitlin is not on this poster is, you ready? Caitlin Clark herself. Other than Nike, Clark allows licensees like Windcraft, who makes this, to only use her name and number, so not her likeness. Which is good.
That's good. That's good reporting, because that answers the question. And as you said, it's been hard to give the league the benefit of the doubt because of all the stories, the anecdotal stuff that's happened that's undeniable. But that's good. That's what you need. That should, if that's accurate, in this particular case, that should pretty much put a close to it, right? Because somebody also said, I think Angel Reese is on it.
Yep.
And I don't have a problem with Angel Reese being on it. But again, it's like, well, And this is the sad reality. People's radar is up, not because they feel like Caitlin Clark is owed extra protection. It's more a feeling of they haven't, the league has sent out these chilly messages from the moment she got in here enough that people have their antenna up. And so every time something like this happens, they wonder if it's another example of this odd resentment that has seemingly been in place. It's the opposite of the, what's the cliche? Raise all boats.
Rising tide
lifts all boats, the whole bit, which is exactly what this should indeed be.
Why don't we pause here?
Yeah, let's do it. And I'm gonna try. Maybe I'll try. Did you try him again?
Yes.
Nothing. Yeah, my guess is he forgot or he's taking a nap. I'm going to try to text him one more time.
Let's do that, and then we have room if he can join us.
Yeah, if he can join. Otherwise, we'll get to him eventually, that's for sure. Stay tuned.
Bumper to bumper.
No luck on Sam yet, so we'll hope for a late call in, or if we'll try to see if we can mix him in on tomorrow's broadcast. Sooner or later, we'll get Sam's reaction, which seemed, by his short text to me, that he is, at the very least, intrigued by how it might work out. He certainly didn't say, because he's not shy, he didn't say, brutal, terrible idea, shut it down. But better for him to sort of fill in the blanks on, because part of what we wanted to talk about and did talk about with Tom Crean is the same thing I want to get into with Sam as another former coach, is just translate this to us. What are at its best, what might we see? And at its worst, what might break down? What might not work? Because there's plenty of items to discuss on both ends of the equation this time. It was interesting when we were talking about the bathhouse news. There was some difficulty or some concern expressed, and this is the danger. We've talked about this before. The assumption was, well, Dan, you referred to them as gay bathhouses. That tells me that at the very least, some of your concern here is homophobic. And all I was doing in this case was quoting from the Star Tribune story and headline: Minneapolis City Council votes to repeal gay bathhouse ban. Days before Twin Cities Pride weekend, the Minneapolis City Council voted to repeal the city's 38-year ban on gay bathhouses. You're being purposefully obtuse or argumentative and scoring no points if you are pretending that a significant reason being given for this push is to reach out to the wider community. And what I've said, and I couldn't be more consistent about this, whoever the bathhouses are intended for, the assumption is they'd be available to anybody. I don't think you have to sign a form at the door to say whether you're gay or not. But I just don't. I am sorry. I don't think there's two issues. I said, first of all, in a city that has the problems that this one does, it symbolically, I think, sends I was going to say frightening. I don't want to go that far. It sends an unsettling message that we don't have enough to do. I was obviously being sarcastic about that. And I don't think you can be homophobic if you're against this, as we've talked about before. But the sad part of our dialogue is some people won't speak up on their opinion on it because that will be the argument against them. As if there can be no other argument than, are you uncomfortable with gay individuals? What's this about exactly? And I would say for me, it's about, I don't think the city, I don't care what other cities have done, I just don't think the city should have to get in the business of sanctioning in public places. Again, they're private places, but they are entities in the public square. The notion of offering up any of these services to individuals or any of these services being available in the public square, so to speak. It's that simple. Whether you like men, you like women, whatever the case may be, I don't care. And what I sense is this is a box being checked, once again, by the more progressive end of the city council that is more interested in performing. We've had proof of it over and over again than it is of dealing with some substantive issues. I just don't think again, I know there's supposed to be these private rooms for these things to happen. I just don't think if you decide to go in there for reasons that have to do with, I don't know, steam, bath, whatever, that you should have to even deal with the possibility that this is the kind of behavior you're going to walk into. That should be private, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think that it's the city's responsibility. The outreach to everybody should be what we talked about, right? It's not that difficult. It's not that complicated. I don't think this is a city at this point. I got some text on this. Is this a city where members of the LGBTQ community are constantly forced to go underground? Places that they can't go? I mean, I keep getting these things written about, spaces for. We have shared spaces for everyone, I thought, when it comes to, entertainment, restaurants, whatever the case may be. Some individuals might gravitate, feel more comfortable some places than others, whatever the case may be. But this is not, the heart of the Deep South in like 1965, for God's sake. History is bad here when it comes to the bathhouse issue. But I don't know. I actually thought, because the last vote was one of the subcommittees, so I thought, well, they'll get serious about it and just say, look, we don't need to go down this particular road. We'll spend our time on issues that are far more important and feeling better about ourselves that we've checked another box. San Francisco does it, so we have to do it. It makes no sense to me. I had a Caitlin Clark text as well. Where did it go? Somebody said, who pays for the bathhouse? Is it publicly funded or privately owned? No, I don't think I don't think there's any concept that there's like government money that's going to go to these enterprises. They're private, but what the city has to do is, reverse that legislation, which, by the way, if you read the Star Tribune story, was put in place. Now, why is Sam calling me on the text? Here, hold on. Let's do this on air.
Yeah.
Hello?
Make sure you turn him down.
Yeah, we need you.
This is what we do.
Okay. Can we call you back after a short break? We can at least get a good 12 minutes in.
We don't even need a break.
So we'll call you in, Gaardsy, about 4 minutes?
No, we can call him now.
Say it again?
We can call him right now. We don't need a break.
I tell you what, we don't need a break. We'll call you right now.
Break.
We'll call you back in 30 seconds. Thank you. That's Sam Mitchell, a little on-air production meeting. So Gaardsy's going to call him back right now.
That's why we took the break at 44.
That's a good point.
For moments like this.
Producer. That's why you're a producer.
I mean,
that's it. That explains everything.
Say it. Well, hold on. I'll put my shoulder back in and call him.
All right, good. So we don't even have to take a break. I had a good Caitlin Clark text, but I'll save it for later. And it's a good way to finish the show, actually, in all honesty, because we've had good conversation with Johnny Athletic on the reporting side, and we got good analysis from Tom Crean, of course, who knows Anthony Edwards very well, coached him at the University of Georgia, and this will be a nice way to cleanse the palate, so to speak, with our guy, Sam Mitchell. If you have questions for Sam, Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line, that is 64686. In fact, let's go ahead and get him. First of all, I want to find out, hold on, do I have the right mouse? Here we go. Here it is. Here we go. Is this a meeting we can talk about on air? Is this like a good NBA gossip meeting, or is it something not really related to all that?
What's that?
The meeting you said you just got out of, can we talk about it? Is it something we would be interested in, or is it none of our business?
Well, it was the technology. I'm having meetings and stuff about the technology, Consultex, the AI app that we're getting ready to launch to give every kid their own AI coach
we talked about when you
and
came
academic
in studio.
advisor.
Right, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it.
So it's getting closer to that day.
Outstanding, and we'll have you on as you get into that day. All right, I'm just going to give you the floor, man. When you first heard, not that there were possibilities, because I think that the Wolves have been involved in every possibility, but when you heard this morning that reported, I think by Shams first, that this is a done deal, what was the initial Sam Mitchell from the gut reaction?
First, I was like, wow. then when you sit down and let it digest, and then you think about the two teams that you got to beat in the Western Conference to come out the West. They're guard dominant. If you don't have good guards, you can't beat OKC and San Antonio. If you think about what San Antonio did, they drafted the last 3 years to do what? To put a team on the floor that can beat OKC. But what they forgot, putting a team on the floor that can beat the Knicks. That's a different story. But if you're the Wolves, you got to try to figure out how to get out the West. And I think of this as a big risk reward. LaMelo is talented, but he's never been, to me, he's always been like a sideshow. Mm-hmm. He's never been a guy that I thought took basketball serious. He's never won anything in basketball. And so my big question is, to me, this falls more on Anthony Edwards and Chris Finch. Why? Anthony Edwards is the face of your franchise. He's the dude now. There's no Mike Conley. He is the guy. He's the best player. He's the leader. He's the guy. He's had success since he's been in the NBA. He's the guy that got to impress upon LaMelo about trying to play winning basketball. He's that guy. This is a chance for LaMelo now to prove to people that he's a serious basketball player. I've always looked at him as just kind of a circus guy. He get his numbers, he get his money, he ain't going to win. And that's what Charlotte thought. That's why Charlotte made this trade. But I think it's a great risk reward if Anthony Edwards and Coach Finch can get him and make him understand this is an opportunity for him to play winning basketball and have a chance to win and go deep into the playoffs. He could turn his trajectory around for his career. But the talent is there. You got a dynamic backcourt. You got size in the backcourt. You got shooting. You got ball handling. Now the question is, he has the ability to be a defender. He has the ability to be a winning player. But can the Timberwolves turn LaMelo Ball into a winner?
Well stated. And that's not that different than what Tom Crean told us at about 3:30, that he thinks it's very much risk-reward. So let's get to – so the risk, based on what you just said, is the obvious, right, is that even here, with a better team around him and with people that you like to think might influence him, he doesn't – he's going to have his numbers and he's skillful, but he's not going to do the things that indicate he's serious about not only getting to the playoffs, which is now considered a given here, but making some kind of a run. On the positive side, though, if it goes well, what does his game do to transform or to change the state of the Wolves' offense?
Well, think about it like this. The only time the Wolves are really, 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 really good is when Anthony Edwards has the ball. And what we've learned is when a guy has the ball all the time, he's on the floor, he gets wore down.
Yeah.
Look about what they were able to do to Jalen Brunson early in that series, wear him down. And Mike Brown did a genius thing. He put Alvarado in the game. He went even smaller.
Yeah.
Why? Because he needed another ball handler. So now think about this. Anthony Edwards can just worry about going to get buckets, worry about playing defense, worry about being a disruptor. He don't have to worry about handling the ball. He don't have to worry about setting anybody up. So now you got a guy that can set everyone up, that knows how to pass, knows how to play. The question is, does he want to be a serious basketball player, and does he want to have a chance to win? You look at what the Wolves did. They put their money in that backcourt. Think about it. They got guards now that they feel like can go out and compete with San Antonio and OKC. So that's the move. That's how I look at this. It's a big risk reward. The talent is there. The question is the commitment? Is he flaky? What kind of guy he's going to be? And you got to understand, you're going to a winning organization. Showing up, being flaky, and being aloof, that ain't going to fly.
Yeah.
That ain't going to fly. And he needs also to understand one of the owners is a guy that won, is a Hall of Famer in his sport, that was a guy that was known to be anal about being in shape, about being a professional.
Yeah.
You think about A-Rod's career. It was all about being a pro, how you look, how you play, how you carry yourself. So he's going to have some expectations put on him that finally he needs. We need to find out if this guy a serious basketball player, or is he just a guy that just want to get paid and play basketball?
Yeah, that's fair. Now, the obvious, they traded away Nas. You got to trade, you give up something in this deal. And so you're left very naked in the front court with not a lot of money. So I would assume you agree. You've got to try to find somebody serviceable up front, because they like the kid Berenger, but I don't think anybody thinks he can play with Rudy. They view him as, all right, we're going to give him some minutes to back up Rudy and then develop, they hope, eventually into the starting center somewhere down the road. But you got, and you tell me, does Jaden make more sense at the 4 or at the 3?
At the 3, man. Okay. You keep him at the 3. So you won't slide. I would not slide him at the 4.
You would not?
No, because he's lighter frame.
Right, yeah.
He's thin.
Yeah.
He's got the height to be the 4, but he don't have the frame. The same thing with Victor.
Yes.
Victor Wembanyama got the height to be a center, but he got the frame to be a small forward.
I don't disagree with you there, but then you got to find somebody, right? You got to get at least one more body.
Who's out there in the free agency? Who's out there that they can?
That's the problem. So it would almost have to be, they got Green in the deal, and what's being told of here is that, and I think Green makes like $15 million. Supposedly they don't want to include Dante in the deal, which would give him a little bit more money. but to get something done, I don't know what Dante's value is. Obviously, he's going to have this injury this whole year. So I don't know if you can get. I don't even know who the name would be, because you're not going to get. We had names earlier that were being thrown out, like John Collins, Oubre, Hachimura. I don't think they have enough money for any of those three.
No. Now, if they could get a guy like one of those guys that you just mentioned, that would be big. But I just don't see them having the money to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's part of the that's definitely part of the issue. The other thing we learned, and I don't know if you were aware of this, because we talked about this with John Krasinski, who's covered the team for years. You know, John. In fact, I think didn't you go on with him on his? He did I think the night of the big uniform unveiling. I think you were on with him for a while. He
sure was.
He says, look, the notion that this is a move of desperation, he said, you can like it or not like it, because as you say, there's risks. But he says, according to his reporting, that they have been after, they being Conley and the head coach and a couple of Conley's lieutenants, that they have been fascinated with pairing these two guys in the backcourt for a long time, and that LaMelo just wasn't available. So, again, doesn't make them right, but I don't think this was a new thing with them. The only thing that seemed to change is that Charlotte said, okay, well, listen. And in the past, they had not been willing to do that.
Well, Dan, the talent's there, but that's it. I've never seen this guy play what you would consider serious basketball. I've never seen him, well, he did have a stretch when Borrego was the coach, that they made a run. I think that he's been in the playoffs before, hadn't he?
He's been in the play-in. I don't think they've been in the series.
Play-in?
Yeah, I think. Because, like, last year, here's my point on to the positive. So, last year, they improved by 25 games. They got all the way to 44 games. Now, they didn't do anything. They lost their second play-in game. They won their first. They lost their second. So, they didn't make it. But I thought he was shooting less, but it's because they had better people around him. But he had good numbers, and he was averaging, I think, 20, 21 a game, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, decent three-point shooters, about 36%. That would indicate, all right, he was part of what seemed to be working, that he was integrating with some other talent that they've added to the list, and that maybe that's a good sign. Now, to your point, the comeback can be, well, then why was Charlotte willing to move him? That's the concern, is if they weren't yet convinced of the seriousness that you're talking about, that's so key if this thing's going to work.
Well, sometimes a guy needs a different environment. Think about it now. Since he's been there, he's been the face. They really hadn't had any success.
Right.
He's been getting paid based on talent, not wins, nothing else. So maybe they just felt like they just needed to do a change. And maybe this would be good for him. It's on him now. This is a great opportunity for him. This is a great opportunity for him to rewrite the narrative of his career. Because think about it, if he would have stayed in Charlotte and this would have been it, just putting up numbers and making a lot of money, it would have been deemed a bust. But now he's got an opportunity to pair with Anthony Edwards, an all-NBA guy. You got a first-team defensive player and center. Now they got to put some more pieces around this team, but he's got the opportunity. The talent's there. The question is now, is he going to embrace this, or is he going to shrink?
That's fair. Well, and you mentioned the Edwards component of this, I think, is huge, because you know this, especially when you got to the postseason. He's facing endless double teams. Why? In part because, if your other guard is not a scoring threat and not a guy who can create space by breaking people down, getting to the basket, opening up the floor for himself and for other people, then it was too easy for opposing teams, right? To basically, John was saying it earlier, Krasinski, he basically is almost as soon as he would get past midcourt, they'd be sending a second person at him. That's harder, at least on paper. That becomes harder to do, right? If the other guy,
LaMelo can make plays. He can handle. Yeah. He's got size. He can get in the paint. He can finish. He can create opportunities for other people. So it's going to be almost impossible to go try to double Anthony.
Yeah.
And now the thing about it now, you're not going to double LaMelo, or he's going to kick it to Anthony. Look, it's a big risk reward. This could be great. This could be something that could get the Timberwolves to move a little bit further. But if it all depends on LaMelo. It all depends on Anthony Edwards being able to impress upon LaMelo that this is an opportunity to compete for a championship, to get in the mix, to be one of those teams, to advance, to have a chance to play in the finals. The question is, does he understand the seriousness of what he's going to be asked to do every night, to step on the floor to play winning basketball? Every night.
Yeah.
Not when you feel like it, not when you feel good.
Very true.
But every single night. Yeah. That's what good teams do. They find a way to win, and they play winning basketball. And we're getting ready to find out if this is something that LaMelo Ball really has an interest in. This is a big look. This move can cost some people their job if it don't work now.
Oh, that's exactly right. I was saying that is the high risk, high reward part. You can get
because I think he's due for an extension too, right?
No. Well, he's got at least 2 years. There's a 3 left, Gaardsy. I think at least 2.
He's got 3, but he's actually eligible to sign a 2-year on top of this one.
Yeah, which
2 years, 119, I think.
Right.
And you know these guys.
Yeah,
they want it.
Yeah, that's true.
They want it. They want as soon as they're eligible for more money. Think about it. Who wouldn't? I'm young. You're going to add 2 more years on top of 40, 50, whatever I'm making. You're right. I want it. Absolutely.
You wouldn't take the money if it's going to hurt the team on the salary cap. You would say no.
Well, I probably would because I'm dumb. LaMelo Ball probably won't because he got a brain.
Last item real quick.
I get caught up in that. I get caught up in they can sit me in the office and talk about family and friends and teammates, and they can get me like that. LaMelo gonna be like, yeah, I hear all that, but you know what? You better add another 0 to that.
Oh, you might be right about that. Real quick, were you surprised at all that that the Wolves got so little for Julius?
No.
Because?
It's not that Julius not a good player. It's not that he's not a good guy. But his game in the playoffs, it's almost like Julius just kind of loses his mind. He dribbles. No, because when you look at the contract, you look at everything that comes with him. We've had these conversations about Julius Randle. Sometimes he has stretches during the regular season where he's great.
Yep.
But it seems like the playoffs is his Achilles heel. It seems like he makes up his mind come playoff time that I'm going to show everybody that I'm that dude. And it just don't work. It just haven't. And it seems like he just like one of those guys that just can't get out of his way when these opportunities come.
Yeah.
No. He's just one of them guys that always feel like I'm right there. This time it's going to be different. And it just hasn't been.
That's fair. By the way, both Anthony and LaMelo are used to having the ball. There's always that question of, can they learn to adjust in that sense? To play,
of course, because LaMelo gonna have the ball. He's the point guard.
Yeah.
But guess what? If you want assist, who's better than to give it to Anthony Edwards?
Yeah. He might like.
If you want your assist total to go up, kick it to Anthony Edwards on the wing. Your assist will go up.
Yeah.
He's got a chance now to average 10 assists a game.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he can lead the league in assists now.
And then you got to challenge Jaden again, right? You got to challenge Jaden to take the next step.
Well, if LaMelo's smart, he will feed him the ball too.
Yeah.
Because again, it's going to be a process. You got to change Jaden mentality. You got to make him super great. I remember a story that Brian Shaw told with Phil Jackson coaching Kobe and Shaq. And so one day after practice, Brian was like, man, Kobe can do whatever he wants offensively. Phil won't say a word. Take bad shots. And Brian Shaw said something to Phil one day, and Phil sat down and said, look, for this team, I need Kobe to be in attack mode 24/7. For us to win, I need him to be in attack mode. And he gave his reason why. And Brian Shaw said it made sense. They won a championship that year.
Yeah.
He said, because when we get to the playoffs, everybody needs to know that he's that dude in attack mode.
Right.
And they're going to load up to try to stop him. And then that's when I have to coach Kobe in the right times to make sure he passes the ball when he needs to.
That's fair. Do you think LaMelo can make a scorer out of Rudy?
I think, yes. I think LaMelo going to make the game easier for Rudy.
Yeah.
Because think about it. When LaMelo get in the paint at 6'5", 6'6", you got to guard him.
Yep, no doubt.
Because he can finish. Now, he's going to attract more attention. I think also when Rudy steps in there and seals, LaMelo going to pass the ball. Why? Rudy got to watch your back. He got to protect you.
Yeah.
You better feed him the ball.
That's true.
Yeah. I think this is going to be, I think if LaMelo embraces this and he understands this is a chance to rewrite the narrative on his career, this got a chance to work out big. I understand why they did it, because they felt like they weren't going to beat OKC and San Antonio with the status quo. So they had to go get better in that backcourt. And when you look at DeSumo, look at Anthony Edwards, and you look at LaMelo now, they got three guards that they feel like they can match up with San Antonio and OKC.
Yeah. That's very, very true. Sounds like you're in a very peaceful spot. We got to go, but it does sound very. I think I hear birds in the background. Are you outside in your
man? On my side,
cabana.
It's cloudy. It's been raining for 2 weeks.
Oh.
It's not too hot. It's about 85 degrees, but I'm sitting out here on the back of my patio talking to Dan Barrero. How much better can that be?
Life gets no better than that, as you well know. Thank you, my friend.
Man, every time you get a moment like this, you better thank God and enjoy it.
I'm with you 100%. Thanks, man.
All right, Dan.
We'll talk soon. Sam Mitchell, the one and the only.
You're listening to Barrero on The Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY
Bumper Show Wrap.
Well, a fairly eventful program. Good contributions across the board from Tom Crean at 3:30, Johnny Athletic at 4:30, and Sam Mitchell, better late than never with Sam. I probably failed in using the talkback line today. I'm sure I know I'd heard some earlier with the project. I probably should have encouraged that. Certainly the text line has been full. And even the text line, I would say, I wouldn't say it's quite as dramatic as the national media, which I think is 80-20 against this deal. I would say our text line is like 50-50. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to, mock and ridicule some of the concerns. There are real reasons to think of this as a risky proposition. I am admittedly intrigued by it, but you even heard it from Sam. He doesn't believe to this point that this player has played serious enough. So is the light bulb going to go off in his head? Is it circumstance? I actually think he made strides last year. Again, they finally put better people around him. He went from being the guy who took all the shots to a guy who still took a decent number, but his shots have gone down like the last 3 years by 4 or 5 or 6, which to me is his way of saying, okay, we got better people around me. My job is to get them the ball. And part of the reason I think those other players look good was he helped, because he is a very good facilitator. So
those numbers are undeniable.
They are. And for me, again, that's what